You support Donald Trump?
I do.
For sure. Why so?
So first off, I am ex-military. I was in the Army for 12 years. Um, I personally see it. I look at Donald Trump and his national security policies as kind of like my anchor. Where we were, I've been under Obama, Biden, Trump. Um, where we were viewed as internationally under Trump versus Obama and Biden, we were respected a lot more, I feel personally, um, from whether it be Russia, China, North Korea, Iraq, Afghanistan, et cetera, et cetera. I feel like we were just more internationally respected as a nation. Um, I feel like our borders, I was based out of El Paso. I was down at Fort Bliss. That was my first duty station. I seen the travesty that
Can I actually
was our
address this real
border.
quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, so actually, if we look at confidence rates, public confidence amongst countries around the world, there's a 24 country median specifically done by Pew Research for Donald Trump, and it showed 62% no confidence for Donald Trump and 34% confidence for Trump, whereas for Harris, it was 55% confidence and 33% no confidence.
Well, I will say this: it's really based on the fire that Trump. I mean, Trump torches it pretty much everybody he talks to. Like, if you don't agree with that man, he will absolutely put your feet to the fire, just like he did at the United Nations yesterday. He I watched the entire thing. Like, he practically said, "You guys are a bunch of idiots." Um, but out of respect for, like, again, I'm born and raised in East Tennessee. We tell it like it is. It's truth and facts. There's no intermediate gray area. Um, I like somebody that says, "Hey, listen, you're kind of screwing us over. Like, you need to stop doing that." Or XYZ is going to happen. And so, yes, like, I look at it like this: if we as a country are getting taken advantage of, whether it be economically, whether it be imports, exports, whether it be the border, whether it be anywhere, again, from Venezuela to Korea or whatever, like, yeah, they're gonna like somebody that doesn't hold their feet to the fire. One
No,
thing I
you're not
do again
understanding
respect that.
because here the question that was asked was whether or not they would do the right thing regarding world affairs. So it's public confidence in that they would do the right thing from their own perspective for what is good for the world. So that's actually what the confidence is in.
So let me ask you this: do you think that the United States should support Ukraine? You know, on a world stage, do you think that supporting Ukraine is beneficial to the United States?
Yes.
Why is that?
Would you like to read this for us?
Oh, yeah. Again, Donald Trump definitely yesterday, again, I watched the whole United Nations thing. He has turned pivot in support of Ukraine. But and this is one thing that I disagree with Trump on. I don't think that we should be the world's babysitter. I think that Russia should be handled by them over there. I think that we have enough problems going on over here as it is. I don't think that um, I think that Israel, just like the Israel stuff, I believe that they should solve their stuff, and we should just figure our own stuff out. I do believe that there should be a level of support internationally from the United States with Israel, but I think that the babysitter title has been labeled on the United States for far too long, dating back to 2001, and even before that. So again, internationally, I think that if somebody can take advantage of the United States, they're obviously going to do that. And if you have a candidate that says, "Hey, I'm not going to let you do that," then they're obviously not going to support that candidate. Because, I mean, again, Harris was not going to implement tariffs. Harris was not going to bring a meeting together with Putin and Zelensky and say, hey, listen, y'all got to figure this shit out. Like, again, you got one guy that's very actionable, and then you got one person who says, between me and Joe Biden, I can't think of anything I would do differently. Like, then, yeah, I mean, obviously the world is going to go for that candidate because
Wait, by,
they've
by the way,
been,
by the way, you should read her new book that she just came out with. She was talking
yeah, the
about
100.
specifically in terms of policies. Now, if you would like to mention specifically like things that we were talking about earlier, there's a few things I'd like to address. You think that we're getting taken advantage of, and you brought up imports and exports. What about imports and exports, right? Are we being taken advantage for?
Well, I mean, again, before the Trump administration took office, China had multiple industries and factories on our own farmland that they were making their own products and stuff like that. And again, whenever I mean, if you look at the price gouging that they were doing on the imports and exports, economically, they were taking advantage of us because what they should have been paying for the product getting shipped in versus what we were paying to ship it out, and vice versa. Like we were getting
Wait,
screwed over.
yeah, we don't pay if they place a tariff on us. Did you know that? It would be
Well,
their own
yes,
companies that pay, that pass it down to their consumers. Okay, so if we
but
place a tariff on them, that's causing us to pay more. So Donald Trump has caused us to pay more. Good job.
well, and see, I heard you talking about that with the last person that the prices of all this stuff has gone up. I don't know where I don't know where you're from geographically, but just here in East Tennessee, eggs have gone down, groceries across the board has gone down, gas prices have gone down. The rent, at least in this part of the state, has gone down probably. I mean, it may not be much, but it's two.
I don't know where in these magical places in the United States people are living, but if you look at the overall data, prices of gas have gone up, groceries have gone up, right? And it is going up at a higher rate now because of Trump specifically, because it's now at 2.9%, whereas prior it was 2.3% in April with the Liberation Day tariff. So it would have gone down to a greater extent. We would have had the ability to bring down interest rates to a greater extent if it was the case that Donald Trump did not impose tariffs and put upward pressure on prices. This is not just indicated by me, but also the chairman of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell himself.
Okay, I mean, I'm not denying um, whatever what you're saying there. What I'm saying is that in my small hick town of East Tennessee, gas prices now are 2.15 to 2.30 a gallon. Whereas in the last 4 years, they haven't been 5 years, they haven't been less than 2.50, 2.60 a gallon. Now
Well,
again, whenever
since
you
Trump got
have
in office, gas prices have gone up.
not here, that's all I'm
Yes,
saying.
they
It's
have.
not here.
They have slightly gone up around the nation. So
Yeah.
again,
Well, again,
I don't know where where you live, but everywhere else in the nation is that's not true.
well, I think if you look at a national average, it's gonna skew the numbers a little bit because again, now whenever you have a national average, how many people
Wait,
live
so then why was
in?
so? By the way, so it was skewed under Biden too. If you're looking at the national average, right?
Well, yeah, I don't think that,
So then
and I'll
what?
say this.
So then the skewing isn't any different. There's no difference in the
Well, I'll say
skew.
this. I don't think that the president himself controls if my gas is 2.15 a gallon or 2.30 a gallon. I'm just saying, nationally speaking, whenever you have places like Knoxville versus places like LA, the averages are going to be a little bit different because there's a million
Though those
plus
are being
people.
taken into account under Biden too. I brought them up under the context of the when Trump got in office to when it is what it is now. So if you don't want us to look at overall prices, then why did you bring them up?
Again, regionally, I've seen a difference here. Now,
Cool,
again,
cool,
in
good for you. Well, if we look at the whole
yeah,
country, that's not true.
yeah. Now, I heard you again with that last girl. They were talking about the border and abortion, which are two things that again, I was based out of El Paso, out of Fort Bliss, seen, um, seen it firsthand almost practically. I mean, right over the fence was Juarez. So, I heard you say you believed in a due process for like a pathway to citizenship, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if you cross the border illegally, whether it be you and your family or whether it just be you, have you committed a crime?
You've committed a misdemeanor, yes.
Okay, a crime is a. I mean, to me, and again, this is why I'm not a judge.
If you've been
A crime,
convicted of a felony and sentenced, are you a criminal?
if you've been convicted of a crime, you're a criminal. That is
So if
in
you've
the
been
word.
convicted of a felony and you've been sentenced of that felony, you are a criminal. So why did you vote for one if being a criminal is such a bad thing under your
This
view?
okay. What we saw, and this is one thing that I completely find disgusting, is the weaponization of the Justice Department in the last administration, and even in this one. I'm not going to say that Trump hasn't done it, but to say that this guy, like, I mean, if you look at the accounts
Well, then
of
here,
the,
how would he be convicted then? Because if you're weaponizing the Justice Department, like
he was in New York.
apparently like we did against him with Russia, well, we didn't determine any conviction there. So if we
Well,
were
yeah,
just
but
like
you
if we
also
were just weaponizing the Justice Department, why wasn't he convicted of all of these things? Like every single one
you
of
see
them.
the report where did you see the report where they found evidence of collusion from the Obama administration on the Russia?
No, it was actually the Trump admin. The Trump admin,
No,
there were people on the Trump admin that did collude with Russia, but it was not proven that Trump himself did so.
no. I'll agree to disagree there. But again, whenever you have a court in New York City that is led by a far left liberal district attorney, I mean, again, like you can't have a unbiased, uh, you can't have an unbiased court in New York
Yes, you
City.
can. Yes, you can. You can have an unbiased court in New York City. Well, a one that you would consider unbiased, right? Because there's bias with every human. So it's just really about being able to put that bias aside. And you understand that Trump's lawyers were a part of the jury selection process. So you're essentially saying that like they picked a corrupt jury.
I'm saying that a jury out of New York City is not one that I would trust.
Okay, so any case against Donald Trump, like in New York where he lives, right? You wouldn't accept.
He was a building developer that crossed paths with a lot of people. There's a lot, and again, I'll say this: his personality type doesn't necessarily agree with mine. I'm not saying, again, I'll echo what somebody said earlier. He doesn't always say the smartest things, and sometimes I wish he would stop talking because the less he says, sometimes it's better. But again, I don't think that whenever you have a movement that has caused the landscape to shift like it has, it would be more concerning if there wasn't people going after him. I mean, if you are doing the right thing and nobody is coming after you to attack you, then something's wrong. I mean, and I can even go like on the biblical side of that. I'm not saying that Trump is a Christian. I don't know
Do-
his
Donald Trump
walk, or
has
whatever.
literally done so many things that are wrong. We can mention that secondly, but like you understand that he was convicted, right? You can't just deny all the criminal cases against Trump because they're against Trump. That's literally all you're saying. Is that no case again that was put up against Trump would be acceptable. And you're somehow trying to put that in with the Bible, bro. The Bible does not say art thou
The,
shall not convict Donald J. Trump of any felonies. That nowhere in the Bible does it say that. Okay, so
but it
I
does
don't.
say that the Bible does say that you will be
Push the Cox,
persecuted.
thank you.
The Bible does say that you will be
Yeah,
persecuted.
Donald Trump's not
Yeah,
being
it's
persecuted
like,
for being a Christian. If anything,
but
he's
there is no
persecuting others. He called for a complete and total shutdown of Muslims entering the country. That's religious persecution.
well, I mean, he put a shutdown of countries that fund. Now, let me
No,
ask
so
you
no,
this:
he
if you
himself,
have
he
your
himself,
way with,
he himself called for a complete and total shutdown of all Muslims entering the country. He said that himself. Do you want me to play the audio?
I'm not saying he didn't say it, but what
Is that religious?
my
Is that him calling for religious persecution? Yes or no?
that is putting America first because,
No, it's
like, I don't
not.
know.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Being against literally basic freedoms, such as having the freedom to be a Muslim, right, is specifically right antithetical to the foundation of the Constitution. You understand that, right? Religious freedom is ingrained
Have
in the
you read,
Constitution.
have you
Push the
read the
corgi.
Quran?
I read parts of the Quran, not the whole Quran, of course.
Okay.
The same thing with the
So
Bible.
whenever whenever you have verses in the Quran that say, infidel, and all these other, there is a
Can you read to me 1 Samuel 15:3 in the Bible, by the way? 1 Samuel 15:3.
to pull it up on my phone, which I'm on currently. Can you read it?
Yeah, I'll read it. I got you. It says, "Now go attack the Amalekites and totally destroy all that belongs to them. Do not spare them. Put to death men, women, children, and infants, cattle and sheep, camels and donkeys." That's in the Bible, bro. So if you're gonna say that's
Oh yeah.
specific to one religion, well, you have
Well,
to
I'm
read
not
your own
saying
book first.
I mean, God said in, I think it was in Joshua, that you got to sin in the camp before He would let them overtake the
Wait,
land.
I'm sorry. The
The
infants? What did the infants do? The
but
children? What did the children do?
I'm not an Old Testament theologian.
Okay, but that's your God still.
It is. It is.
Okay, so your God called for the of children and infants when he could have poofed them out of existence right to heaven.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, I can't speak for what was going through God's mind at the time. I'm not a theologian here.
So I'm
But what I
confused.
will
So
say,
then why would you bring up the Quran and say that about the Quran? Couldn't you say the
because,
same thing? Couldn't they say like they don't know what God was thinking in that context?
but let me ask you this: how many countries funded, supposedly funded 9/11?
What type of pivot? What?
Oh, there's a
What?
reason for this.
What?
What? Okay.
What?
Hey, listen.
Dude,
Come on.
that
With
was
me. Stick,
good.
stick with me. How many countries were funders, supposedly, of 9/11?
Dude, I don't know. Tell me. You tell me.
There was 12 different Islamic countries that
What were
claimed.
the countries?
There was Turkey, there was Iraq, Afghanistan, Kuwait, Syria, there was Georgia, and I'd have to look at the list. But I mean, there was at least six there. I think there
So,
was.
by the way,
Uh,
Georgia, a place that was controlled by, or that was then later taken over by Russia. By the way, so that you're talking about a place that is now part of
well,
Russia. Okay, I just want to mention that one thing. Two, as it relates to
well,
this.
yeah, but
Secondly,
in 2001.
yes. Secondly, if you want to look at this, Turkey, which is designated one of our allies, did not say that and did not fund that. Can you give me a single source indicating that all of those countries, particularly, were a part of funding it?
Well, in 2000 and 2001, that was what the reports were. That's what the information was.
Oh, but was that proven to be true?
I would say for the most part. Anyways,
Didn't they claim weapons of mass destruction too, and that was
well, yeah,
proven
and again,
false?
I'm not saying that 9/11 happened exactly how they said it did, but again,
Wait, wait,
I'm
wait,
more
wait, wait. We're talking about this specifically. No, you have to show me where in the reports they even claim that.
again back in 2000, 2001, 2002. It was from Fox to CNN to MSNBC. I mean, it was all over the. I mean, everybody was playing the blame game back
Fox,
then.
the CNN, just everywhere. He just says it's just everywhere, bro. So, by the way, not everyone in the comment section saw that for sure.
That's okay. Um, Now, the reason why I say that is there is
And also, I have an
far more.
NPR article right now of Biden declassifying a secret FBI report detailing Saudi Arabia having connections to 9/11,
Yes.
which you didn't mention. So that was actually like the main.
Well, yeah. I mean, I told you I couldn't remember every single one of them, but there are four more. There are far more radical extremists. I mean, just like on the border itself, in the 2024 fiscal year, or even in the last 7, 8 months, they have found more people on the watch list coming across the southern border
Wait,
than
again, you didn't have
that's what I'm
justification
saying.
for that
That's why
previous
I
claim. Now you're
say,
talking about people who are quote unquote to our country. Okay, you understand that
well,
law
look at the
enforcement will have a
example.
better job dealing with specifically people who are a threat to our safety and security as a society, given it is the case that they're not deporting people who have not committed violent crimes and bad crimes and are working to benefit their local communities here in the United States. So actually, I would say that we'd be better at dealing with anyone who is in the country who's coming here who is going to be particularly have committed a violent crime or bad crime if it is the case that we could address it from that standpoint.
I feel like that if you come across the border illegally, that whether you're from France, whether you're from South Korea, whether you're from Mexico, whether you're from Venezuela, Ecuador, El Salvador, Venezuela, wherever, that if you want to come into America, there is a process. There is a constitutional process, a legal process that you have to go through. If you come across illegally and you are breaking your back, supporting your family, you have still committed a
You're
crime.
amazing. Thank
Now,
you.
what I will say is
Okay,
this: I have a friend
so
of mine that is Canadian,
wait, actually,
and this is
before
one
you do
thing
that, let me
I,
address this. That's a misdemeanor, but apparently you don't have much of an issue with Donald Trump committing a felony, and you say that's just weaponization of the Justice Department. So I think you're weaponizing the Justice Department against undocumented immigrants who have not committed a violent crime or bad crime. I think these are false charges. This is bullshit being perpetuated by the Trump administration. This weaponization of the Justice Department is unacceptable.
okay. What I will say is, I have a friend of mine who is a natural-born Canadian citizen, and he said his name is Eli. He said that it is a lot cheaper. It was a lot cheaper for him to get his United States citizenship as a Canadian than it would have been if he was from South America. Now, obviously, I don't know if that's true or not, but if that was true, I feel like that absolutely needs to be like rectified. Um, but again, I don't feel like
It
if
needs to be
you,
quick for everyone to be able to come to the country. If you have not
yeah,
committed a violent crime or bad crime, you should be able to get in the country quick.
I think that it should be, if you have not committed a crime, then yes. I mean, it shouldn't be like a 5 year process or whatever the hell it is. Like, I feel like it should be an easy peasy, like, okay, here you go.
And why does it take
But at
5 years? Because Republicans artificially put barriers in place to make the system take longer.
well, again, I'm not going to disagree with you there. I feel like we make it hard on, we make it harder for South Americans to come across the border than we do anywhere else. I don't believe that that's okay, but what I do believe is that you should have to come across legally. And again, the problem that I have is the people that are highlighted are the bad ones. It's just like
Right.
if you go to work, if you look at the reviews, only the people that hate their job are going to complain. Only the people that commit these felonies, like these people, those are the only ones that are going to get talked about. They're not going to talk about the people that are doing the right
I
thing.
I really want you to think about this. Why is it such a big issue for you for an undocumented immigrant to have committed a misdemeanor, but not for your president to have committed a felony?
Again, I'm not going to say that he's a righteous man. This man is not going. He made a quote the other day about, like, if I solve this war, maybe I'll get into heaven. He's never going to be able to work his way into heaven. I'm not saying he's a great man, but what I'm saying is that I only judge a person by what I personally physically see them doing. And what
What?
I
No,
see,
you don't.
no, what I see is a man that has secured
I'm
our
so,
border.
can I ask you a question? Was he a bad person?
Absolutely.
Yes. Did you watch it? You did. No, you didn't exist. So clearly, you don't just make determinations just based upon
But
things that
we
you've
have
seen
the
yourself.
evidence of millions of Jews getting for an
Wait,
ethnic
evidence. There you
cleansing.
go. We have evidence. There you go. So that's the basis. It's not things that you physically have seen yourself. It's evidence, right?
Right.
That's what I was trying to get you to realize. So then go back to your point, but use evidence, right?
Okay.
We have
Again,
evidence he convicted the felony, right?
right.
Or he
Now
committed,
again,
committed, sorry.
let me tell you this. If at the end of the day he 100% did those things and 100% he's guilty, guilty, guilty. Again, I'm still not going to say he's a holy and righteous man. I'm never going to get that man's face tattooed on my butt. Like, I'm not that guy.
Yeah, but
But
why is it such a big issue when someone has to be deported if they've come into the country undocumented and haven't committed a violent crime or bad crime? But specifically Donald Trump, you would vote him into the position of presidency even though he's committed a felony. Like seriously. Oh, I can't hear you covering your mic, man.
sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you got to go back from originally what you were saying. I didn't hear any of what you were saying.
No, I just, again, I don't believe personally. I don't believe that everything that I hear on the news, I don't carry with a ton of weight. everything that anybody hears on the news, they should not carry with a ton of weight because, again, everybody has an agenda, everybody has a purpose. And so I don't, as far as the charges go, I don't know if they're true or not. They very well may be. And if
Bro,
they
I'm sorry.
are,
Now you just don't accept the evidence. You see what I mean? Like now it's like, oh, you just don't accept it.
well, because I just don't believe it. Like,
Yeah,
again,
the said the
what
same thing about right. The
what
literally
are the
claimed
ratings?
that there were that claim that about the. So just claiming you don't believe the evidence is not a good way to respond to the evidence.